Hi, I am Nick Shell with Family Friendly Daddy Blog. I wanted to address the shooting that happened. When we have these things happen, and I feel like it's every 2 years that we have some crazy guy who's on some kind of medications for being depressed, and who knows, for all I know, the drugs actually make it worse, for all I know. But what comes out of this is people try to make sense of it. They try to make sense of the fact that a guy would go up in a hotel and basically be a sniper and shoot people at a country music festival. They look for a motive. They look for reasoning. Why would he do this? Why would he ruin innocent people's lives who are just there with their families? Why? We as rational, good-hearted people ask those questions because we're looking at the world in a perspective of rational and good people that we are. So when we have someone who is just crazy, off the rails, has access to these weapons, and we do something like this, we can't fathom, we can't understand why they would do that. But here's the problem. We're rational people. The person who did this shooting in Las Vegas, not a rational person. Okay? So no matter how hard we try, we're just wasting our time because this was not a good and rational person that did this. And that's always what we try to do, and we're always wasting our time when we say, why? And then what happens too is people can't make sense of it. So what do? They go on social media, and ultimately, because they don't know how to deal with it, then they ultimately kind of make it about them, don't they? They say, well, I was just in Las Vegas last summer. I was there 2 weeks ago. Almost as if it could have been me. So a little bit of survivor's guilt, but they broadcast it on social media, which kind of comes across a little bit like, oh, there's this tragedy. Let me make it about me somehow. Because I matter, don't forget about me. I'm talking about this instead because I can't do a selfie today. But I can at least still talk about my thoughts are with these people. And then there's also this pattern I see, which when something like this happens, people try to make it a political issue, you know. And if you ask me, hey Nick, what do you think about the fact of the kind of rifle he had, and should we have access to that? You know what? For all I know, maybe some changes could be made. But ultimately, people try to turn this into a political thing. I'm not a political guy. Whatever happens as far as gun laws and all that. I don't know. But people, in their attempt to try to understand the rationale, they make it into a political thing, which can turn into a debate and an argument online. Of course, ultimately in the end, you're grateful for what you have and that you still have your family. It puts things in perspective there. In the end, that's the only good thing I can think that can come out of something like this shooting in Las Vegas, is that those of us who have survived this in our lives, wherever we are in America, we are reminded how grateful we can be for what we have. No matter what's going on in our own life, whether it's a rough time in life or whatever, we can be grateful for what we have. And that's the good thing. That's the legitimate thing. The most legitimate thing can happen to this. But just keep in mind what you're going to see on social media. And keep in mind, I haven't scrolled Facebook since the week after the election last year. So I'm saying this based on all the other times I've seen it. I refuse to scroll Facebook at this point in my life. But that's what you're going to see. You're going to see people trying to make sense of it, trying to rationalize it, which is impossible. Then they're going to draw attention to themselves in an attempt to try to understand it and talk about how they were just there. The thoughts are with, and they were going to do a post about that, bring attention to themselves, because what about me? I got to make it where I am the person who serves as this. I don't know. People do that, don't they? They try to make it political. Let's make it about guns. Let's make it about the gun. We shouldn't have access to the guns. All this. That's what's going to happen. But ultimately, we can't make sense of it because it doesn't make sense. You know, I think of things like this too. It's like, it's almost like the universe has this world of balancing itself out. This sounds weird, but think about this. You know, for most of the history of the world, babies would die in the process of pregnancy and childbirth. And now with modern medicine and technology, people are actually able to survive birth now. So more babies are being born, or we're able to born because technology and medicine has caught up to us to that point. And now we can do that. But at the same time, as that started happening, what happened too? Abortion became legal, which means more babies. So it's weird. It's weird to see how that happens. Okay, we can survive now. Oh, but now we're going to be aborting. So it's like, you see these things and you're like, I don't know. It just kind of seems like that's what happens. In other parts of the world, there's terrorism going on. And then when it happens here, it gets easy to look on the other side of the world. All those crazy religious extremists doing all this stuff. And then you're over here and like, so I guess it's what, every 2 years now it happens, and now here's another shooting. But we still, all that being said, I just don't think there's really any rationalizing. I think anything else is a deflection and distraction. Even in my own thoughts right now, I'm talking about abortion versus children being able to survive being birth and lower mortality rates. It's still, even still with me, I think I myself, I think it's still an attempt to try to make sense of it for me. I think that's what that is. And I'm just being honest about it. I think that's the natural thing to do, because it's so foreign of a concept that something like this would happen when such good people like us are exposed to this. This is the best we can do to try to rationalize it and try to understand it and try to process it.